big bounce back day, 2-0 in the NBA last night, looking to keep it rolling on the NBA season. We got 2 NBA games going on tonight, Thursday night football, of course, going to get into all that. And we'll talk a little bit what went down yesterday. John hit with the Raptors and the under in the Pistons game. Got to feel good with a nice little 2-0 bounce back.
Better than what I feel great about is I'm 4-0. 4 games so far we bet the season. We're burying the number on every game. Yesterday, again, I think it was 2 days ahead of time or a day ahead of time, sent out Raptors +1.5. Raptors close 1. Total, we went under 220.5, goes down to 218.5. That was pretty much a breeze. Beat the number, you beat the game. It's that simple, guys. So get off to an 0-2 start the first day. Don't panic. Long season to go. Just beat the number. We're going to get the money, and that's we're well on our way to doing it with a 2-0 night last night.
Yep, we got some games going on tonight. Currently no bets in the NBA. We'll get into that. There is a bet on the NFL. If you guys want that, sign up howtobeatthebookie.com or download the app. And really quick, guys, if you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe below. Let's start off with a little bit of Thursday night football here. We got the Bucks at the Bills. The Bucks coming off a tough division loss there against the Falcons. Had a bunch of chances late, couldn't pull it off. And Buffalo now 3 tough games in a row. They had a London game with Jacksonville, tough. They come back home, tough game with the Giants, and then they lose to the Patriots. So 3 really tough, low-scoring games there for the Bills in a row. We'll see if that continues. Prior to that, though, they had 3 straight blowouts. Blew out Miami, blew out Washington, blew out Vegas. And that's kind of what the Bills are. They have the worst record in one-score games over the last 3 seasons, and they're blowout or nothing. So that's the question. Are they blowing out the Bucks tonight, or they're going to keep it here within this pretty big spread here of 9.5? You look at the matchup history. Haven't played since 21. Tampa won that matchup. Tampa won that matchup in Tampa, but that was, again, with Tom Brady. Definitely a different team now here at Tampa Bay. Can't lay this number with the Bucks or the Bills the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks. It's tough. Too many points here. And like I said, blowout or nothing. So early on in the game, if it doesn't look like it's going to be a blowout, maybe take some live action there and some big plus money for Tampa Bay. Could see him possibly giving him a fight. But in the inverse of that, if Bills look like coming out hot, then I would stay away from that completely.
Yeah, this number opened up at 9, went down. And now it's gone back up to 9 and even 9.5. There was some talk about Mayfield's actually listed questionable as the wide receiver. Godwin is. They're both going to play, so they're not questionable. Can't make Buffalo, can't win by double digits. Last time we saw them at home, they shouldn't have beat the Giants. Yeah. Giants don't have an offensive line. Then they go to New England, who looked horrendous, and they made Mac Jones look like Tom Brady. Look, they're beat up. Their defense, we know what's happened to Buffalo. They got decimated in their defense. One of your better cover guys, Tre'Davious White, Matt Milano, one of your best linebackers. They lose a couple of linemen. And now Oliver misses yesterday. He's actually questionable to come back tonight. So we know why the defense isn't performing. But what is wrong with that offense? They put some points on late in that New England game, but the Giants held them to nothing, and that was at home where they usually score some points. Big number. If the number 10 pops up, this is a no-brainer. Buffalo not scoring. Problem is Tampa Bay just can't get on the board. 13-16, lose to Atlanta. They lost their last 2 games, which were both at home after their bye. But 2 road games so far this year. They've won both their road games. Again, guys, this is why, if you remember, go to the ratings. You have to rate teams home and away. They're different. Some teams, you can't say Tampa Bay, a team that plays better on the road than they are at home, gets the same home rating as the Miami Dolphins, who I give a 4-point difference between home and away. So Tampa Bay, can they keep them down? Can they keep the Bills down? Similar. Can you ugly up the game to what the Giants did and get a low-scoring game? Stay within those double digits. To me, Tampa Bay and under or nothing.
Big number there. Thursday night football. We'll see how it goes. A lot of these primetime games have been going under. We'll see if that continues. Then we got a couple of good NBA matchups. We first had On the Tuesday primetime games, it was the Western Conference. We got a couple of those teams still in action tonight, Suns and Lakers. But first, we get two teams who haven't played yet this year, 76ers and the new look Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, all the hype around getting Damian Lillard. No more Budenholzer. Got Griffin now as the head coach. We'll see how that fares for them. Also pick up Malik Beasley, which I think is a little bit of an underrated signing with this team. Obviously, with Giannis and the Bucks, I mean, really, it's the three-point shooting that they've had for so many years around them, whether it be Brook Lopez, Connaughton, Grayson Allen for a little while. So they've had a lot of good shooters, and now Malik Beasley going to be a guy taking in that step. We'll see how he fits in. And then you have this Philly team, James Harden, not going to be with the team for the first couple of games here. And apparently he showed up, and they said, hey, no, you're not traveling with us for these first two games. So we'll see what goes on with that. Apparently the Clippers no longer talking in the trade talks. They're trying to convince Harden to play so he can increase his value. Harden's ready to play. And they said he's not. So who knows what's going on with the 76ers? All I know is that's a lot of drama that I do not want to be betting on the first game of the season. They do bring in Pat Beverly, Kelly Oubre, give you some bit of more defensive presence on the perimeter. We'll see how that fares there for Philly, but it's just tough to bet them in this spot. Bucks really, really good at home last season, and that's going to be the lean here for me in this one. 33-9, 24, 18-2 against the spread at home last year would be Bucks or nothing for me in this game.
Yeah, I don't want no part of Philly. Also, my number on this game is 7. Right now, we're looking at about, 6.5. 6. So actually back down to 6 on this game with no Harden. Harden's just a total distraction with or without the team right now. They need to do something about that situation. Milwaukee, we're going to see what they're all about tonight. A lot of changes in there. You get rid of Jrue Holiday, Grayson Allen. These are guys that gave you a lot of stuff, but you get a superstar in Lillard. Our main thing is you've got now that three-headed monster. Does now Middleton take that backseat? We talked about it the other day. Does he become the Bosch to LeBron and Wade as he will to Giannis and Lillard? He's going to need to do that to have some nice everybody on the same page. 6 points here in this game. This is that number opening night that you figure the game to be there. I don't figure to be a blowout and beat Philly. Will get up for this game. 6 points to me, close enough to the right number that I'm not interested in the game.
Yeah, going to be interested with this Philly team, how they handle all the drama. Tyrese Maxey's going to have to be stepping up here a bit. Just trying to pull up his stats as we speak without Harden. I'm not a big prop guy, but just coming to mind. Last year in games without James Harden, 13.6 points per game. Nothing too crazy there. Would be a lean there, though, prop-wise. We'll see what he picks up. Then in the nightcap, we got the Suns and the Lakers, but both teams a little banged up. For the Phoenix, no Beal still, and now no Devin Booker. If you guys watched that game on Tuesday night, even in the playoffs last year, but Tuesday night really solidified. Devin Booker is the best player on this team. Yes, Kevin Durant's a stud, but it is Devin Booker's team sticking through. And with the loss of Chris Paul, we talked about how they're losing. They don't have a true point guard in that lineup right now. Devin Booker was kind of playing that true point guard a little bit, led the team in assists. He was definitely facilitating down the stretch. He took over the game down the stretch at Golden State with playmaking. So losing a lot there. We'll see what happens with this Phoenix team tonight. Historically, the Suns owned this matchup for the prior couple of years, but Devin Booker is the only remaining piece from that team, and now he's not even in the lineup tonight. So that ownership, you kind of have to forget about it. I mean, even the coach is gone, so nothing remaining from that true Suns ownership. Lakers did win the last 2 meetings at the end of last year, one in the back end of March, one in the very last week of the season in April, and Kevin Durant played neither of those games. Booker missed one of those games. Prior to that, was the ownership trends. Suns have won the 9 prior meetings, 8-1 against the spread. Obviously, they had a playoff series a couple years back, but just a little bit of a grain of salt with those ownership trends with all the newness here with Phoenix and Vanderbilt questionable tonight here for Vanderbilt not going to be in the lineup tonight for the Lakers. This Lakers are nothing. You got a Phoenix team missing a lot of pieces. Lakers looking to get first win on the season here at home. We'll see how it goes. And Booker not playing. Looks like Phoenix playing very cautious. They're happy to get the win at Golden State on this little 2-game trip here to start the season.
Yeah, you've got to feel like that. The Lakers are nobody. They've got to come home with a game. Should be very disappointed with their performance, especially AD's performance in the second half.
Oh,
The
yeah.
problem here is LeBron. If they're really going to hold him to this 28 to 30-minute limit, that just makes the Lakers a different team. Doesn't sound like much. Those extra 6 to 8 minutes,
Huge.
big things can happen in that time. Going to need those points from LeBron. If AD doesn't dominate, look. Last year, when LeBron missed some time, AD was playing out of his mind. He was playing like the AD from back in the Pelican days. If we've got that AD on the court, you don't mind laying a half a dozen to a Phoenix team. Look, Phoenix was already shorthanded, but bringing in the big names, they got rid of a little depth. Now you're going to take out Booker on top of Beal already being out, and they've got a tough draw to win coming off that off the win at Golden State. Lakers should be coming in fired up. But again, another half a dozen points here leaves room for that back door. And if you're trying to get LeBron some rest, you got to lead. They're putting him on the bench. Who's going to pick up the set? Again, 6 points, pretty much what I make the game with Booker and Beal out. I'll stay off this one also.
Yeah, Torian Prince gave the Lakers some nice production in that first game. But some of those other guys, if LeBron's not going to be playing as much, it's going to be who's going to step up. Reeves, we saw him take that gigantic step at the end of last season in the playoffs. Can he continue to do that? And then D'Angelo Russell just been a little bit of a no-show so far in this second time around with the Lakers. See who figures it out, who steps up. But yeah, Lakers are nobody there. Feels a little bit square, but yeah, lean to both home favorites tonight. No bets on the game, but that's what the leans would be here in the games tonight. And John, we had a lot of action yesterday going on in the NBA. We can start talking about some of these games, some of these surprises, some of the things we saw. I mean, first off, the Pistons had the under in that game, but man, Cade Cunningham, 30 points, 9 dimes, came back after a year missing. Didn't look like he missed a beat. Detroit's got something there with Cade Cunningham.
I don't want to give too much into it. Look, Miami jumped out to a 19-point lead at one point. So a little bit of that rubber band. Again, keep in mind, this was a little bit of a look-ahead game for Miami, too. They go to Boston tomorrow night. That's who they knocked out. We've said it yesterday. Miami, this is a different team. Regular season and playoffs, two different teams, this team, especially without without your backcourt. Lowry is a dud. He didn't get on the board last night. So you're missing Vincent and Strush. How about Strush going off for 27 and leading the Cavs to a win on the road last night at Brooklyn? But, yeah, Miami not the same team. And then, again, they still had Detroit buried by 19 points. They make a nice comeback. Cunningham actually has a shot to win it late. Didn't get the job done. Detroit, again, they don't have Bogdanovich. He was their leading scorer with Cunningham out last year. Another little step up this roster looks. Some younger guys got a year under their belt. But again, they're again towards the bottom for me. Like what I saw out of Cunningham, he's not going to carry the team by himself. Detroit getting better, just not there yet. Miami, they look ugly. I think they're in for a tomorrow at Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. Shai Gilgeous, OKC. OKC looked really good against Chicago. The Bulls kind of fell flat. I don't know if you saw the reports there, but I guess a lot of team tension at halftime, and there was a lot of conflict. And Billy Donovan, I guess, walked into the locker room. Guys were arguing, and he said, "Do you guys need time alone to sort this out?" And they said, "Yes." Yeah. So Billy Donovan walked out on halftime so guys could argue in the locker room. That's a very, very concerning sign week one, but hey, okay.
They actually had a team. They had a team meeting after the game. That performance was ugly. Bulls pull a no-show at home opening night. Levine couldn't hit. He couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. And wow, OKC. This is a team that's just been leveling up each year. Last year, just making the play-in. They're going to be a playoff team this year. Shai stays healthy, they're real. They'll again, they're not going to threaten, but they're a playoff team. I like what I see from this young group. They'll be developing, and they're going to be a problem out west in the years to come.
Yep, and another team who's going to continue being a problem, Sacramento. They look really good. Obviously, Utah, nothing too crazy, but they went out and got it done. And as for a team, who's going to put up an encore as far as what they did last season, Harrison Barnes gave them a random 33-point night out of nowhere. So I don't know if you're going to expect that much more, but as a team, they just looked really good last night.
Yeah, I thought Sacramento had a little bad spot. They've got Golden State tomorrow. Thought this might be a little bit of a look ahead for them last night. Remember Golden State knocking them out in a game 7. Steph goes for 50. So it's a little bit of a tough spot but they went and handled business. Utah, I thought, would be a little bit better than they showed last night. Let's see if they do a little better tomorrow night. Just give you guys a quick heads up. Tomorrow night, they've got the Clippers coming in. And look, guys, we tell you all the time, the trend is your friend. I'm already looking at a trend for tomorrow. The Jazz have won 11 of the last 12 meetings in Utah. That includes playoffs. And the Clippers have lost the last 9 regular season straight there. So Utah's got a day to get their stuff together. But Clippers look like they can do whatever they want. Look, PG and Kawhi, could they ever stay healthy? What they did, granted, it was against Portland last night.
Yeah.
But just seeing them on the court together, again, if they could stay healthy, I can replace the Lakers with the Clippers in that conversation of the top 3 being Denver, Phoenix, Clippers. All about health. We'll see how it goes for Kawhi and PG, but a nice start for them last night. Let's see if they can break the trend going out to Utah tomorrow.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, excellent fit. Just what was it, 11, 5, and 13 assists. I mean, that's what he's there for, the playmaking. And he was over 50% shooting. He didn't take a lot of attempts, took what was there. Obviously, when he was at the Lakers for scoring a bit more, Washington, they needed him to score more. Houston, they needed to score more. So on this team, if he can truly sit back in that playmaking role, I think it's just such a perfect fit for them. Yeah, agreed. They look good. Pelicans, they look pretty good. I mean, obviously, Memphis looked very banked up. But Zion had a horrible first half. Next thing you know, you look at the box score at the end of the game, second in scoring, 23 points, over 50% from the field. I mean, really rough first half, got his rhythm back. I think Pelicans, that's my favorite starting 5 in the Western Conference, behind Denver. Denver's obviously reigning champs, best team in the NBA, but I think this Pelicans team can do damage.
Pelicans look good, but again, yeah, Memphis kind of banged up, missing some pieces there. Jackson Jr. gets in early foul trouble, and that's going to hurt them. He's the reigning defensive player of the year. What I will tell you, watch him tomorrow when Denver rolls into town. Just so you guys know, our lines are made. It's 11:36. Our lines are made, and we're already waiting for DraftKings. I'm chomping at the bit for a couple of games. It's one of the games I'll be looking for tomorrow. Joker, best player. I don't care who won MVP last year. Embiid, best player in the NBA. Joker, 15.3 points a game in 3 games versus the Grizzlies last year. And Jackson Jr. had a lot to do with that. So he had a little bit of a rough time. Only team he scored less against last year in 2 games with Chicago Bulls. So we'll be looking at that game. But, yeah, they did not look good. Jackson Jr. got in trouble, foul trouble. And look, that Pelicans, as we said yesterday, start of last year, that team started red hot. They'll go as far as Zion goes. As good as he looked in the second half, if he can continue to look that good, they'll be a force to be reckoned with, the Pelicans.
I thought the Celtics had some concerns last night. Obviously, new roster, a lot going on. Tight game. That Knicks played horrible in the first half. And Boston, I mean, the bench, they played, first off, they only played 9 guys deep. And we talked about they traded depth away, and that was their kind of strength before. They were better defensively, but, man, only 12 bench points last night between 4 guys. It's a very shallow team. And obviously, you've had some injury concerns with Porzingis in the past. What's going to happen there? Al Horford isn't the most stable. So Celtics a little bit concerning with that depth there. That's kind of what we touched on yesterday a little bit.
Huge concerns. Look, Horford hasn't played back-to-back in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis played 38 minutes last night. You're not going to play him 38 minutes a game and not have him injured. That's not even happening. Concerns. Look, let's chalk it up a little bit to Jrue Holiday. Played some great defense. Brunson, 6 for 21. Randall, 5 for 22. So the Knicks' top 2 guys are basically shooting 25%, 11 for 43, and you only win by 4 with a late run because Knicks had that lead going late into the fourth quarter.
Nope.
Yeah, Celtics have got some definitely got some concerns, and I'm already telling you they're going to be tough they're going to be tough to win in back-to-back situations, in stress situations. Like I said, with no depth, you already know Horford won't play in your back-to-backs. But just seeing the minutes that you've got, look, Porzingis looked great, by the way. Look,
Yeah.
Tatum is what you expect out of Tatum. Brown didn't have a great game. What Porzingis don't come with that game. They walk out of there with an L last night. But again, you're not going to play him 38 minutes for any amount of time and not come away with an injury. That's the history on Porzingis.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up going there with those growing pains for Boston. And that game we had Toronto last night. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony, what were they combined? 16 of 50, 52. I mean, they just couldn't hit a shot, taking them left and right. But hey, I give a little bit of credit there to that Toronto defense. I mean, that was a concern for me. You lose Nick Nurse, obviously one of the better coaches, one of the better schemes, and they didn't look too bad defensively. And Schroeder looked like a nice replacement for Van Fleet. So Toronto, I don't think the offseason loss is going to be as big of an offset. We'll see, though. Obviously, that's game one. They own that matchup, so can't take it too seriously.
Nope, but Schroeder played a great game for game one. Not a fall off from Van Vliet. That was an ugly fest. Slopped it up. Date you back to the 80s type of game. The first to 100 wins, nobody even got there. But that's going to be that type of game. Toronto plays a little bit of a defensive game. Their length looked like they bothered Anthony Edwards, especially. We come out there with a W. Again, the trends, guys, we don't throw nonsense trend. What a team does on a Wednesday. That's not a stat. You know, that's I don't know why they keep those stats. How one team goes north of the border and they can hit 40% of their field goals. That's a stat, and that's what happened last night. They just couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. So we'll take that W with Toronto. I think Minnesota will get better. Remember, they were missing McDaniels last night. Toronto is who I thought they were. They're not. They're nowhere near the top tier. But everybody knocked them down too low with losing the coach, with losing Van Vliet. They're not that bad. They'll be fighting for that play-in or a bottom tier playoff spot.
Dallas last night, I mean, their defense is just going to be in.
What defense?
Exactly.
We're going to call them Alice because there's no D in Dallas. There's two games, that game in San Antonio and the other game that you gave out, Washington, Indiana.
That matchup screamed.
They were defenseless. That was just defenseless. That was just who could score as many points. Looked like a pickup game at the park. But yeah, just what we said yesterday. Luka, Kyrie, they're going to outscore you. They ain't going to play any defense. Luka triple-double. He was questionable to play. This guy's amazing.
Yeah, the Wembanyama looked pretty good, all considered, with the foul trouble. Didn't play much, but we'll say for first game, sitting in foul trouble the whole game, and then come back, score 9 in a row, tie up the game. I mean, that's just good to come in there, force a rhythm. We'll see how he continues to develop. I think
there's no question this kid's going to be a superstar. I mean, I don't think there's any question he's going to be a superstar. It's just a matter of how long will it happen. Look. Don't forget they got guys like Vassell who led the team in scoring yesterday.
Vassell squad.
They're not going to be as terrible as they were last year, and that's we talked about Popovich, what he did with the team at the end of last year. Wasn't playing the whole group together. Whether it was tanking for Wembanyama, here they are now. Does he start to let them play a little bit? They went after that game last night. Just don't have it to get it done. They'll play the second or the worst team in the NBA tomorrow, the Rockets. So they should get themselves a W at home.
And you have that one give me to touch on Hornets.
And what we're talking about, let's stay there. How bad were the Rockets?
Yeah, bad. And also give credit to Orlando. I mean, it was top to bottom, everyone getting it done for the Magic, but it was a blowout at that point. So starters didn't have to do too much. But that Orlando team got some nice youth and depth. But yeah, Rockets, I thought Udoka might instill a little bit of a defensive presence amongst them. And no, they did not have that.
It did not at all. And that might take a while for them all to buy in. But just knew that Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks just wasn't going to turn that franchise around. There's nothing there. That's the worst team in the NBA. That I could say easily after 2 days of games. Houston Rockets, first team in NBA.
Hornets, who were down there in the bottom of the East last year. I mean, LaMelo Ball first came back. He's slew of injuries. We'll see if he can stay healthy, just like his brother deals with that. But he started off 0 for 7. Hornets were down, go down double digits. And the next thing you know, come right back. He starts hitting a couple of shots. Hornets look okay. But again, Atlanta, I mean, they didn't make any changes, any improvements. It's kind of just the same squad they're running back here, Young and Murray. And I don't know. Just like I don't know if what Minnesota's going there with Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. Actually, I do know it's not going to work out, but similar with this Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, just seems a little bit too similar in play styles for either of them to really excel. I don't know your thoughts on that team, John.
My thoughts on that was Trae Young, 4 for 19. Yep. DeJounte Murray, 3 for 14. That's 7 for 33. 20-something%. That's just not going to get it done. If they were playing the Girl Scouts varsity team, they're just not going to get it done. So we talked about Collins moving on to Utah. Him and Trae Young, they've been rumored for years, not getting along, whatever. So now here you go. The backcourt, you're going to live and die by the backcourt, and they died last night. As they just could not hit a shot. As you said, ball opens up. He didn't hit a shot in the first half. It's still a game. That can't be, but it is because your backcourt, they can't hit a shot either. Atlanta's a better team than that. They've got to do a better job than to go to Charlotte and have your backcourt not score a point. Who led them in scoring was Young with 23, but he took 19 shots to do it, and he only because he got to the foul line. He hit 14 or 15 from the foul line. But yeah, Atlanta, they didn't look good last night. Charlotte is who they are. They'll come up with a win like that every once in a while. They're not gonna be a playoff team. Bridges, you get that whole situation. Don't know if they'll even take him once the suspension is over. But yeah, Atlanta just I thought they were. Let's see what happens in the next game. First game is a total dud for Charlotte, for the Atlanta backcourt in Charlotte.
Small card we have going on tonight, guys. The 2 NBA games, the 1 NFL game. I will say tomorrow's NBA game is a studly matchups. I mean, you got playoff revenge angles left and right. Some good battles: Nuggets, Grizzlies, Heat, Celtics, Kings and Warriors, even Clippers and Jazz. If you want to go back a little bit, Knicks and Hawks. If you want to go back a little bit. Nets, Mavericks, Kyrie versus the former teams and guys he was traded for. So going to be an interesting little matchup there. A lot of good games coming up on this Friday slate, John.
Yeah, I got my line is made. We're already waiting for DraftKings to come up with their line. And that's why we tell you guys, we appreciate you guys watching the podcast. That's all great. But unless you remember, because as soon as I send out these games are going to move. That's 4 bets so far in the NBA, all 4 games, everyone has moved at least 1.5 points. We're just getting started.
Yep, and hopefully we can keep it going. We got a bet out tonight, 5 other bets for the NFL coming up this Sunday. And like John said, waiting on these DraftKings lines to open up for NBA games tomorrow. You guys want all that, sign up on the app or the website. Going to have a big Friday episode for you guys tomorrow. That, John, 2-0 last night. Let's keep it going tonight. Let's make some money.
Yep, back in the green for the week, and we're gonna drive a stake through their heart today. Let's get this going with this NBA. And one more thing, guys. I'll be turning over the college football back to Ben. He'll be doing it solely. Just too much to go through. Again, don't want to cheat. You can only do so many things at an expert level. I don't want to miss a beat with NBA. To be ready every single morning to jump on that DraftKings line. Just don't have that extra time. I'll continue my ratings, which are my college football ratings. Again, you can compare them with Sagarin's or go to the ESPN's Football Power Index. I'll still compare them with, and they're not, you can't compare them with it. They're better than anybody's ratings you're going to see anywhere, especially any computer ratings. Computers are one thing, okay? And it's okay to use computers as part of your rating. But there's some things you got to look at. Let's throw this example in. The Georgia Tech Miami Florida game a couple of weeks back. Okay, Miami, Florida's got the game won. The game is over. They're supposed to kneel it out. They don't kneel it out. Georgia Tech, they fumble the ball. Georgia Tech throws a touchdown on the last play of the game. These are things that shouldn't happen. If you're just going by what the final scores are and you're sticking that number into a computer, you're not getting the whole deal. Just a lot of things like that. Oregon, Washington, a couple of weeks ago when we bet Oregon +3. There's no way in the world. If I coached that game for Oregon, Washington would not have beaten us. The coaching blunders. Go to every single computer rankings now, computer ratings. Washington is rated under Oregon. So Oregon is better than them in every single computer, but it's more than just the computer. So you take my numbers, you can make numbers just about on any game. Just keep in mind, there are certain things to look at. If you're a How to Beat the Bookie member, you say, John, why aren't you betting North Carolina at Georgia Tech this week? Your numbers say it should be about 17 and the line's only 11.5. Well, there's reasons. They've lost 4 of their last 5 meetings with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was home last week. North Carolina basically had their hopes of any ACC division ended with a horrible loss to Virginia. Do they recover from that? So there's a lot of things that we look at besides the actual numbers. So just don't take the numbers and go, but you can use those numbers. Go on 90% of the board, and you're going to see our number taking home and away is basically a point and a half away from either number. And then if you add in the other things, you understand why I have no bets today. But I'll be handing that back over to Ben. We'll keep my power ratings up there also for you guys on the that are members. And it's time, like I said, this is NBA time, guys. This is where I make my real money. And DraftKings, come on, put the numbers up. We're ready for you today.
Yeah, luckily I can able to keep up with college ball because I don't have to make my own NBA numbers because John's got the best ones around. No reason to mess around with that. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below. Going to be a big weekend yet again. Make sure you guys get on board. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.